my channel. My name is Hermione and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you some Ikea hacks. It has been a long while since I've done some Ikea hacks and I've been itching to get my hands into some more. I just had to go to Ikea first. So I popped into Ikea recently, I picked out a few bits from their marketplace section and I'm ready to get some DIYs going. I've also got a lap table hack in this one, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Today's video is very kindly sponsored by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, a website or an online store, make it with Squarespace. The first hack I'm going to share with you guys today is actually currently sitting in the background right here. You guys know how much I love using those cheap Signy rugs. They are so inexpensive and you can hack them in so many different ways. So today I decided to very quickly and easily make a lumbar pillow for my bed. Let's jump into it.
To start, lay your rug on a flat surface and fold it in half lengthways. Make sure that the wrong side is facing upwards. This is the side where I've cut the tag off because we're going to be flipping it inside out. To sew this together, I'm using a very thick twine, doubling it up and using a wool needle to sew. Make sure that you only sew the long end at this point in time because we don't want to get the tassels all caught up. The stitch I'm using for this side I believe is called a whip stitch, so I'm just pushing the needle up from underneath, pulling it through, pushing it up again, etc, etc. Once you've finished stitching the long side of your pillow, you can then go ahead and turn it back the right way round. Believe me, this is actually a little bit more difficult than it looks because the fabric is so stiff, but just stick with it and you should have something that looks a bit like this. Next, you'll need to secure one of the tasseled ends of your pillow. This way the padding won't come out while you're filling it. I'm just using a running stitch to do this because I didn't want to tangle all those tassels in with a different type of stitch. Once your stitches have been fully secured, you can then go ahead and stuff your pillow. Now you can use those pillow inserts from Ikea, but I had loads of padding left over from my DIY headboard, which is in my room makeover video. So I just decided to fill it with this because it's quite robust and very thick, and it gave the pillow a lot of extra support. I wanted it to be really firm, but it is up to you. This is just how I wanted my pillow. And then of course, lastly, all you have to do now is straight stitch along the open end of your pillow, and that's it. This is how mine turned out, and I really love the style of these long lumbar pillows with a few plain pillows in the background. I think it just dresses a bed really nicely, and it's just a different twist on, you know, the shape of your average pillow.
For this next DIY, I'm using a transom mirror. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I love circular mirrors, and when I saw this in the bathroom section, I knew I could make a mini macrame style mirror with it. So let me show you how I made it.
So to start, you'll want to take your mirror apart. Guess who didn't press record while she was taking the mirror apart? This idiot right here. But it's really simple. All you need to do is unscrew the bolts on the side. Anyway, moving swiftly on. For this project, I'm using some pink braided cord. You can use any kind of rope or cord that you'd like, just make sure it's quite thick and strong. As you can see here, I have two pieces of cord. I've doubled them over and tied a knot in the very top. I then separated all the pieces into the 4 strands and I tied each set of 2 on either side with another knot. Hopefully you can tell what I'm doing because I am terrible at explaining, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of like a macrame project, but a mini macrame. Anyway, then I just placed the mirror on top of the cords just underneath the knots. I passed one piece of cord from either side over the mirror and added 2 beads to each side. I then took these 2 front pieces and I tied them in another knot, which I wanted to have kind of 1/3 of the way to halfway up the mirror. I tied this nice and tightly, and then I flipped the mirror over, doing the same thing on the back. I just didn't bother putting the beads on because you wouldn't see them. Then to hold the mirror in place, I'm taking all 4 cords at the bottom and tying them into one mega knot. This will keep it from slipping around. My cord was fraying a little bit, so I decided to roll with it and just unpicked all of the braids and kind of turned it into a tassel at the bottom. And lastly, for a bit of extra security, in comes the trusty hot glue gun. I used a little bit of hot glue to secure all of the knots to the sides of the mirror, just to make sure that once it's hung up, it's not gonna go anywhere. This worked really well. It feels very secure now. Now, all there is left to do is hang the mirror on the wall, and this is what it looks like. I'm really pleased with the way it turned out. It's just kind of a basic take on the macrame and circle mirror trend. It's kind of a hybrid, so yeah.
Next up, I'm going to share a slightly bigger hack, just a little bit bigger. I'm going to hack a lack table. It's a lack hack. I've had one of these little Ikea lack tables since way back when I was doing my undergrad. It was a few years ago, so it's looking pretty old. It's covered in spray paint and I don't even know where the legs are anymore. So I decided to hack the tabletop. Just FYI, some of this footage is a little bit closer than I would like it to be. I'm struggling to find space at the moment for filming. Hopefully you can bear with me because I really love this project and I can't wait to share it with you.
So this is what my very sad looking lack tabletop is looking like right now, covered in spray paint, but it's not going to look like this for long. So I'm just taking some fabric that I have here. It's a nice blue stripe. I picked this up in a charity shop. You could use an Ikea rug or Ikea fabric. I'm just placing the tabletop on top of it upside down and making sure that it fits, of course, and then using a staple gun to secure the fabric to the underside of the tabletop. Make sure to do this with 3 sides of your fabric, leaving one side open so that you can stuff the piece. Just an FYI, I did pull this a little bit too taut because my material was way too small, but I was hell-bent on using it. So if you're wondering why it looks a little tight, that's my own fault. I take full responsibility. Anyway, once you've done your 3 edges, tuck your corners over to make a nice clean seam and staple those. Make sure to avoid covering up the leg holes because we're going to need those. Now you're ready to fill your poof with whatever you want. You can use padding, wadding, cushion filler, or like me, you can stuff loads of old cushions in it. It works just as well. I'm using some Ikea cushions, some miscellaneous cushions from Poundland, and I even opened one cushion up to take the filling out just to spread it around nice and evenly. Make sure while you're doing this to get rid of any lumps and bumps now before you turn it over and staple the other side. Anyway, once you're done, staple it all together and then you're ready to put some legs on. I'm using these old vintage legs that I had lying around from another piece, and ta-da! They fit perfectly in the bottom of the poof. This is why I love hacking Ikea products so much. Everything is already pre-made and pre-drilled. It's so easy to switch different bits out and turn it into something new. This is how the poof turned out.
I love Ikea for their lampshades. They are so easy to customize because they're pretty much plain. So I picked up a Jara lampshade and I had to hack it.
This is the lampshade I decided to use. I wanted to pick a small one to make a tableside lamp, and I'm going to decorate it with wool. These are the colours I picked. So for this piece, I'm going with a kind of mid-century inspired vibe. I really love the string-wrapped lampshades that you could get in the 1950s, so I thought I would give it a bit of a modern twist. It's so simple to do this. All you want to do is secure your wool at the back with some hot glue, and then run a very thin line of hot glue, and then put the wool in it, keep wrapping it, pull the wool through, glue it down, pull it over, etc., etc., until you start building it up to look something like this. You could use one solid colour, but I'm alternating the colours on mine because I'm loving pink and mustard together at the moment, so I'm just using lots of different tones of pink with this really pretty yellowy mustard colour. And here I am, a few days later, finally finishing this monster of a project. I'm glad to see the back of this, to be honest. In terms of safety, I would highly recommend only using LED light bulbs that don't emit heat with this project, and never leaving the lampshade unattended. Once you've finished tirelessly wrapping your lampshade with wool, it should look something a little bit like this. I'm really pleased with the way it turned out. It's definitely giving some mid-century vibes, which I feel like my bedroom really needed.
And lastly, I have a very speedy hack for you guys that is anthropology inspired. I saw a fruit bowl on their website. Maybe it's a fruit bowl, maybe it's a trinket dish. I'm not really sure, but when I saw these bowls in Ikea, I knew I could make something very similar and it wouldn't take very long and it wouldn't cost very much money. So this is how I did it.
These are the two bowls I picked from Ikea, this greeny coloured one and this pink one as well, which looks a little bit more square. Because of that, I put that one at the bottom and then the green one on the top. I just thought that the arrangement looked a little bit better. And then all you have to do is secure it. You can use glue if you want, or for a less permanent method, I'm using these wall strips. And these are actually very strong and very hard wearing, but they are less damaging, so you can use the bowls once again afterwards. I cut mine into 3 thin strips, removed the backing, and then just placed the other bowl on top, pressed them really firmly together, and then as you can see, this is what it looks like. You can really hardly see the strips and they do not want to come apart. And there you have it. It's really as simple as that. That one is such an easy hack, but I think it looks really cool and it makes for a great catch-all dish.
That's everything for the hacks in today's video. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I was really excited when they got in contact with me because I actually use Squarespace for my own slightly neglected website. I will be posting more on there once the house is done, I promise. But I also used it for loads of my university projects. I love Squarespace. I love the functionality. They have really gorgeous designer templates that are so easy to manipulate and they look really professional. You can also drag and drop loads of things into them. They're perfect for websites and blogs like mine, but they're also really good for online stores. You can keep stock of your inventory and your purchases and things like that. You can also set up your own domain, which is what I did, or you can transfer an old domain and you can actually do this with third-party apps now, so you can control it all in Squarespace, which is really cool. So if you're thinking about making a website, a blog, or an online store, do check out Squarespace. I promise you, you won't regret it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you like the hacks. Do let me know if you'd like to see some more IKEA hacks in the comments below. And without further ado, I'm gonna sign out. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.